Hi everyone, welcome to those who joined just now. Good morning and good afternoon or good evening, wherever you are. Please mute yourself if you are talking to somebody else, but do unmute yourself and talk to us. We are happy to hear from you.
And turn on the camera if you don't mind. We
Yes,
want to make it
please.
more
So
interactive as possible.
I think I'm quite pleased with the turnout already because
The
it's
Friday
just
afternoon.
4:01. Everybody's bang on time, and that's like a big plus in my
Yeah.
in my mind.
You see, literally have so many things to do on
Yes.
Friday afternoon or evening for
Yeah.
a lot of us, right? Yeah. And joining and attending one more webinar is probably the last of the priority, but so whoever has joined, we really appreciate that.
Yes,
Really
definitely.
value your
Definitely.
time. Yeah.
It would be great if everyone can share where they are joining us from, please.
Would be nice if any of you are from tech recruitment background, and if you put that in the chat, what exactly you do to kind of understand the audience queue would be really helpful. So if you're from recruitment industry, any part of HR or recruitment, put your designation or what you do in the chat. So we can probably ask you some questions as well. Yeah.
Brilliant. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for joining this session on a Friday afternoon or evening. I know this is like like Friday is like middays when my weekend starts, but we have a very exciting session planned for you. So thank you very much. A couple of housekeeping. We are going to record this session, and we are hoping that once we finish the session, all the participants who wanted to attend this would get a copy of the video recording so they can reflect back or come back with more questions if needed. But yeah, so that's what we will do. And also towards the end, there will be a Q&A session. And but we would like to keep this very interactive. So if you have any questions when we are talking this through, please do raise your hand, and hopefully we can queue up your queue and we can talk that through. We have Mayur here, who's the subject matter expert on this subject. So yeah, do raise a lot of questions. We would like it to be very interactive. Yeah. And yes, if any of you want to turn your camera on, brilliant. But if not, that's fine too. But if you don't have a question, I would request you all to just mute yourself because this is being recorded for future as well. So with that in mind, let's kick off. What I wanted to talk through today was what we want to talk through today was round one AI, and what role does this has to play in recruitment, and what are the challenges and what are the benefits that this can provide instantly, and also a little bit more about technology, which we would discuss at length, hopefully in the sessions. And if you have any questions around it, please do raise. Now, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Meenakshi Sharma. I'm a product expert, and I've been in the industry for a really long time. I've worked in various industries. I've worked with special products like auction house, gaming companies, and also with supply chain and enterprise level products as well. And I would like to now hand it over to my dear friend Mayur. Mayur is a tech expert, and he's an architect, CEO, and founder of this Round One AI product, which is quite a astonishing accomplishment, I would say. And Mayur, please, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. First of all, thanks everyone for joining and welcome to the session. As Mona said, my name is Mayur. I've been techie all throughout my career, worked on many different products, couple of startups, and worked as consultant across many different countries, UK, US, India. Uh, I look for problems worth enough solving, and I found one with the AI to solve. So that's what we'll talk about today. And hopefully, we'll be able to give you some value towards the end of this webinar so that you feel, a little bit accomplished by attending this 1 hour with us, at least getting some value out of it. That's what we aim for. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. And I think the idea is that you learn from this and also share it with your network and also talk this through with your company where you're working through your decision. Just create a bit more awareness about this product. And yeah, so Mayur, I think what we should do is probably we should start by talking what is round one AI, and we should then probably focus on what benefits does this provide. I would.
આ રેકોર્ડ કરીએ છે ને આપણે?
Yes, it is being recorded and would appreciate if you go on mute, Uday. Yes.
Yeah. So over to you, Mayur. Shall we talk about what problem does round one AI
Sure,
solve
sure.
for us?
So just taking a step back, before I talk about round one AI, let's talk about AI in general and the problems in recruitment industry, right? Because AI has been a buzzword for last over a year or so because of ChatGPT. Thanks to ChatGPT, it's been a mainstream phenomenon. Everyone talks about AI these days, right? It's become a fashion, but it's not just ChatGPT. AI, it's been around for a long time. Just that ChatGPT has made it more mainstream, and the new advent of latest computing technologies has made it more accessible to various people, and so many problems that we've been tackling with different means are now being solved with AI. Right?
Give us an example of what problem do what is an example of a problem with AI being currently used in the recruitment space?
So let me share my screen, and I have a list of recruitment stages. So let's talk about different stages, and then let's see how you can use different AI products or services to solve problems in different stages of this recruitment life cycle, right? Let me share my screen. Okay. I hope you're all able to see my screen.
Yes, we are, Mayur. Thank you. We
So
can see the
most
stages of
of you,
recruitment
yeah,
process.
sure, sure.
Sorry.
So most of you who are from recruitment background would realize these stages, but if not, let me just for the general audience, let me call them out. Now, this is not an exhaustive list of all the stages, based on different industry and requirement. There are new stages added or removed. But in general, when you want to hire someone, you first of all, you start by defining the requirements. That's the most important step, right? Whoever is hiring for that candidate or that role would usually define the requirements depending on the project or the product they would be working on. A lot of times I've seen in my career, I've done a lot of hiring for so many different roles. I've worked with many tech recruitment agencies and departments. A lot of times I've seen people just go to other job sites and find a similar requirement and fine tune it based on their requirements, because no one likes to, you know, from scratch write the requirements, right? But now, let's say if you wrote a very good prompt to ChatGPT by providing all the right details, ChatGPT would help you, or any other AI agent, as a matter of fact, would help you define what requirements you would need for that particular role, what should be the designation, and all sorts of details, right? So you could use different AI products for defining your requirements.
Yeah.
Um, Once you've done your requirements, your definition, then you go and look for candidates in the marketplace, right? So you go and post the job descriptions and the skills you require on various job sites. This is called the attract candidate stage. You want to attract the right candidate. The problem which has over time evolved is that, in order to improve the user interface, all the job sites have made it very easy to apply. For example, LinkedIn has this easy apply button. So if you already pre-configured your profile, you can just apply to job by just one click, not filling up 2, 3 pages of form, right?
Yeah.
So it's much easier, but at the same time, it has created an additional noise for the recruitment team because now
Yeah.
you're receiving like hundreds of candidates
Yes.
every job that you post, and probably 70% or nearly 70% of the candidates are not really genuinely interested. You know,
Yeah.
they've applied because it's easy. Doesn't cost you to apply to a job, right? So they're not
Yeah.
really serious job seekers. And a lot of times I've spoken to candidates who had totally different profile, but they've applied to this job because, oh, you know what? If the hiring manager sees my CV and if they have a requirement for my job profile, they would probably talk to me, right? So attracting candidates is a big problem, and there are many different AI products that basically cater to this particular stage. A lot of new products are evolving every day.
Hmm.
What they would do is, as soon as someone applies, that would use some sort of AI to do the background check or do their social profile evaluation and find out whether that candidate is a suitable candidate for you or not.
Yeah.
There are various new products coming up every day that cater to this particular segment. The next stage, which is basically once you've attracted a bunch of candidate, now you have to screen these candidates, and this is where the recruitment teams are almost always overburdened with. First, let's get this clear: HR teams, recruitment teams are always understaffed.
Yes.
There is
That
no
is very true.
company that has enough recruiters or enough HR
Yeah.
in their team, right? Pretty much everyone will agree with me on this. Um, Now for an example, if you post a job in the market like UK or US, in less than 24 hours, you are likely to receive 100 plus applications. And for a market like, let's say, India or Philippines or China, for that matter, as soon as you post a job, in less than 24 hours, you're likely to receive more than 500 applications.
And I've personally tried and tested this, Mayur, when I was looking for a profile. I mean, I was looking for jobs and I used an easy apply, but you know what? Sometimes it would put me off because of the number of candidates that have applied.
Yeah, you see that
And
number first before applying, right?
yeah, and also I don't know if they all have the right skill set, but also I've spoken to a couple of recruiters when I was going through that process who said that it is such a pain because we don't really have any value out of it, and they get like so many profiles that they have
Yeah,
to skim through to
yeah,
find the right one.
yeah.
And it's from what I've heard, usually out of 100 there are like 5 or 6 that are actually applicable for the
Available.
job.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a real problem,
A big
for sure.
problem, and it's not a new problem, Mona, let me tell you. It's been around for as long as the recruitment is around, right? There have been many products and many services that have tried to solve this over the period of time. For example, LinkedIn has this. So if you have proved yourself by taking a short test that you have
Yeah.
this skill, right? Or if someone endorses you for that skill, then LinkedIn would use that to show hiring managers who are the most matching candidates.
Yeah.
But the problem is that if I buy a premium subscription of LinkedIn as a candidate, I can see that what skills are required for this job, and then I can go and edit them in my profile.
Right.
Tell
Yeah,
them
that's
what.
true.
There is no rule or validation whether I have those skills or not, right? ATS systems have been around forever, right? The applicant tracking system, and many of them have this feature that
Yeah.
they use their smart algorithms to look into the CV and find the right keywords and then make
Yeah.
sense of them using some sort of intelligence and then rank the candidates that these are the top people. So you should now speak to them for the actual interview. So the teams usually don't spend their time, evaluating or screening all the hundreds of candidates. They depend on other systems like this. Now, what's happening is the with the advent of AI, every CV sounds like A plus 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 on the face,
Yes.
right? Because everyone has realized is that you take a job description and then
Yeah.
paste it in the chat GPT and then ask it to repurpose your CV or the summary
Yeah.
section at least for that job, and it will do it for free within a fraction of seconds, and then you're
Yeah.
like the top candidate. But now all 100 candidates are like top candidates. So how do you deal with that problem now? Over the years, many people have provided the CV writing services where they would use the numbers and percentages and whatnot to highlight your achievements in the CV. But if your CV cannot be trusted, then what good that is, right? So it's a big, big, big problem. Round
Yeah.
one AI actually caters to this particular problem. So in the next slide, I'll come back to this problem for more details. The next
Yeah.
stage is basically interviewing and shortlisting the candidates. There
Yeah.
are several AI products now available that can help you schedule automated interviews, right? It can find
Mm-hmm.
the right time and it can schedule it for you. It can send some communications on behalf of you.
Yeah.
So then you can do the interviewing part. There are other products available, marketplaces available where you can find interviewers as a panel. So you can hire them as a panelist to do
Yeah.
the interview on behalf of you. Because let's face it, also, just like the recruitment teams, there are always problems with finding right panel to interview, right? Um,
Indeed. Yeah.
so there are many, many services and tools coming up pretty much every day. If you follow the AI space, there are new tools every day that helps you with this interviewing stage.
Yeah. And I
Now,
think tech in particular, sorry to interrupt there, but I think tech in particular is complex because recruiters are not expert themselves. Because, if you are hiring for a very technical profile, I mean, for example, if you look at generative AI or AI recruitment, I mean, I'm not sure who's the expert, right? Literally, because it's a very recent technology. So I can imagine how complex it is to actually assess the person, and you need to have like real techies involved to be able to interview as a panelist. So yeah, that's definitely, and then coordinating all of that takes so much time.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And finding the right time, right panel is always a problem.
Yeah.
So I've seen couple of very good companies in the US market where they basically you outsource the interviewing part to them. They will find from their marketplace, they'll find the right
Mhm.
panels, the expert panels
Yeah.
who would follow a particular practice so that you get the best evaluation out of those interviewing.
Yeah.
Um, the next stage is basically release the offer and then onboard the candidates. Now, there's not much in the offer space, but onboarding has seen a lot of new advancements with AI. So I have particularly been, a candidate where I was not provided any onboarding at all. This was during COVID. So there were, and it was just beginning of COVID. So
Yeah.
everyone was figuring out how to do something that you used to do in office.
Yeah.
Would have an induction session for a half a day, take the team out for lunch and then show them around the office. But now how do you do it without being in the office, right? So there are a lot of new virtual products that provide a virtual office-like environment, and
Yeah.
show them around the office or introduce them to different policies and documents. So there's many new products coming in this category as well.
Yeah.
These
Yeah,
are
but I think I find it really interesting that on your slide where you talk about that recruiters can take up to 2 weeks to hire one candidate and at most a month. And this is not even all the other things that come after, right? So I think that's a really long time to invest for one candidate.
absolutely right, Mona. Companies would like to hire fast. Uh, why wouldn't they, right?
Yeah,
Everyone wants to hire as early as possible. Everyone wants to hire in the least cost as possible. If you don't have to pay for the job posting, you would
yeah,
not pay for the job posting. Forget about agencies. If you went to the agencies, you're looking at drastically increasing your cost. Uh,
yeah,
right? If you want to, basically, it's out there.
yeah,
Different markets have different costs associated to it as well.
of course. Yeah,
In the very next slide, when I talk about the initial screening problems, we'll see
yeah,
another fact very much related to this. So I'll move on to the next slide. By the way,
yeah.
I've been talking a lot. If anyone has any question, please raise your hand or put that in a chat. I will try to accommodate them, whether right now or towards the end. And I
Yeah.
won't be able to see that on my screen. So Mona, if you or someone can just call it out if there is a question.
Definitely, I would do that. Yeah, please, we encourage everybody to just interact with us. Have any questions, please do raise. Or if you have any feedback or even on the recruitment process, do
Yeah.
add, because I think there are more problems to solve for us. This would only be good for us to know your feedback. I think Mayur, I think we should probably move on to the next slide.
Sure.
And I think I'm also I before we do that, I was also thinking through that not just by investing time, I'm hoping that the solution to this problem also helps in reducing cost overheads towards this process. So I'm sure we'll find out in a bit, but I just thought it worth mentioning
Yeah,
here.
absolutely. Absolutely. And right after this webinar, we'll send an email with a blog on Round One AI
Yeah.
that has a list of these stages as well as what AI products you can use for them. We have a very nice blog, so we'll probably share that with everyone as well.
Brilliant.
It's
Thank
not
you.
just about talking about Round One AI, but we want to provide some value. So if you can use any good product, we are all up for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Moving on to
Thank
the
you.
next slide, where I want to talk about the initial screening stage. And this is where Round One AI is trying to impact or help the recruiters with their day-to-day life, right? So let's look at some very specific problems that arise in this particular stage, right? As we just
Mhm.
discussed, the AI-generated resumes is a big problem,
Yeah.
and it's not gonna go down. So everyone is going to use it more and more. There are more and more. So if even if you just search on Google that AI and job search, most of the results are basically trying to help you revise your CV or write your CV in a better way
Yes.
using AI.
Yes.
Or
Guilty. I've used it.
everyone does that. In the past, you were paying a professional to do that. Now,
Yes.
AI that does it for you for free mostly.
Yeah.
Right. So AI generated CV is a big problem. So if you used a system or if you did it yourself, where you assess candidates just by looking at their CVs, you are most likely to face some problems going forward because you can't really rely on the CVs, just CVs, right? And
Yeah.
this is not to say that everyone does it. I mean, there are a lot of good candidates who really don't need to use AI for their CV because they already have enough qualities in their CV and their experience. So they don't really need to edit or modify that. Um, but yeah, it's a big problem.
Yeah.
There's another
Definitely.
problem which is a bias. Well, this problem is again, it's not something that we think about every day. You know, we don't want to talk about bias. If someone says that, oh, you are biased, we don't want to agree to that, right? But
Yes.
let's understand this. Any, there are so many unconscious biases, and here
Yeah.
you're choosing a candidate
Yeah.
uh, to be interviewed further, right? So out of 100 profiles, if you're sending 5 profiles to be interviewed, and if you're just looking at their CV, you're reading their name, you're reading their location, you're reading which company they have worked in the past, right?
Hi, Pavani. Could you please mute yourself?
Yeah. So
Thank you.
there are so many places where you can introduce bias, right?
Yeah.
If let me give you an example. If I've had a bad experience with a person from a particular country, let's say, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm interviewing another candidate who belongs to the same country, there is
Yeah.
very likely I'm going to think about my bad experiences in the past.
Yeah.
Shouldn't happen. Ideally, you shouldn't be allowed to introduce bias, but these are all unconscious biases, right?
Yes.
Everyone would have heard this question, or if you interview yourself, you ask this question that tell me a challenging situation in your one of your projects and how did
Yeah.
you overcome that? Now you are actually introducing bias. You would
Yes.
understand how they've challenged, how they've tackled those challenges, and you try and kind of resonate that with how you would tackle the challenge.
Yeah.
That's where you just introduce a bias. There are so
Yeah.
many different biases. I mean, it's not even openly discussed, but yeah. So
I mean,
basically,
couldn't agree more. Biases is like a huge pain point for all of us. I mean, obviously, sometimes we recognize it, sometimes we don't. And the other problem you were just talked through was the AI generated resume. I have been reviewing resumes recently, and I could find very similar examples or text on multiple resumes, and that's what happens when you actually use an AI generated resume. The text, there are slight changes, so somebody's looked at it and changed it, but in nutshell it's exactly the same resume. So yeah, and yes, yeah, couldn't agree more with that.
and then there are many other problems. Whereas, for example, if a company is working with a recruitment agency to
Hmm.
sourcing, right?
Yeah.
Uh, you're looking at based on the region again, you're looking at paying at least 10 to 30% commission on the first year salary,
Yeah.
right? So if I was hiring for someone to, 50,000 pound salary, I'm
Yeah.
looking at least paying 15,000 uh, commission to a recruitment agency for that.
Yeah.
And again, they are also going to send you similar profiles, which may have been written by AI, which may
Yeah.
have had biases in their screening, right? So
Yeah.
it's a lot of cost, a lot of time that goes into it, a lot of manual work. That if you're dealing with, let's say, just 10 candidates, if you have to send
Yeah.
10 emails, review 10 CVs, send them 10 responses that, oh, let's schedule the interviews, second round, third round. There's a lot of manual work that's involved into it,
Yes,
right?
definitely.
And this is a very important stage because the candidate whom you interview, it
Yeah.
depends on this stage,
Yeah.
right? So if you don't get the right people to be interviewed, you lose the game right there, right? So
Yeah.
this is a very important stage to move further.
Yeah.
Let's say the previous stages are also very important. But if you receive 100 applications and if you receive 80 bad applications, right, that's fine because the 20 are still good and you can use some help from AI to make some sense out of those 20 without spending a lot of time and money on it.
Exactly.
And another fact that I was talking about from the previous slide is that, whereas recruiters take 2 weeks to 4 weeks to hire,
Yeah.
the experienced and good candidates, they expect offer within a week.
I mean, I would expect that as well, right? So it's really difficult when the candidates, especially in the current job market, when they have to wait for weeks on weeks,
Yeah.
and you might lose really good
Very good
candidates
candidate. Very likely.
to your competitors, or the candidates. What about the candidates wellness as well, right?
Yeah.
Reducing time doesn't really have just reducing the time and hiring a candidate doesn't really work for the organization, but also for the candidate. I think it's really good.
Yeah. Yeah. And the candidate experience is important because most of the time, let's again agree to this. Hopefully, everyone will agree that we don't send, as hiring managers, we don't send rejection emails. We
No, we
let them
don't.
wondering, oh, what's happening?
Yeah,
So a lot of these problems.
yeah,
Uh, these are all the problems, many more, but these are some core problems in this screening, right? Where you have AI generated CVs, you bias, you have hundreds of CVs that you have
yes.
to use. The volume is a big problem. The ATS systems traditionally relied on the CV and the keywords in the CV, which you
Mm-hmm.
cannot rely anymore. So there are many big problems. I think it's worth solving, and we are trying to solve this with round one AI.
Yeah.
So
Sounds like it's basically it's going to help revolutionize the current process that we have, and also add value for all parties involved, and a
yes,
very good experience. So Mayur, do you have a demo prepared for us? Would you
yes,
be
yes,
able to
yes.
showcase this product to us?
Sure. I'm not a big fan of preparing demos in the PPTs. So because I feel like if the product or the service is good enough, you can just show that publicly and then let people be a judge. So what I'm going to do is
You are a daring person, Mayur, because not all demos go properly.
yeah,
It worked 5 minutes ago. I've heard that many, many times.
yeah. Well, yeah, I hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah,
Um,
no, all the best. Go for it.
sure. So I'll switch my screen share to my website. If anyone has again any questions, feel free to put them in a chat, and we'll try and tackle them. So I'll share my screen and we'll look into the Round One AI website, the front end website, and then I'll give a quick walkthrough. And
Yeah.
then we'll look at both the user journeys, right? So if
Mhm.
you are a hiring manager, you want to post a job, then how can you do that? First of all, with Round One AI, because in order to evaluate or do the initial screening, you still need the job posting out there. So
Yes.
will as a hiring manager will post a job, and then as candidate we'll start the interview. We won't complete it because it usually takes about 30 minutes, so we won't complete the interview, but we'll see how the user experience is.
Uh-huh.
Then we'll switch back to the hiring manager's dashboard and show you how you can see hundreds of candidates data when they are rated by AI purely based on skills, right? And as a matter of fact, when we started building it, we didn't even ask for CVs to be uploaded because we think CVs are not really needed anymore. But a lot of companies think that they would need CVs towards the end, so we've kept them optional right now. All right, I'll share my screen and I'll just let the product speak going forward.
Yes,
Mayur
please.
can't see your screen, by the way.
I'm
Ankur.
sharing it. Yeah, I'm just about to share.
Ankur. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, are you able to see the screens now? Is it still
Yes,
showing
it
PowerPoint or is it
Yes,
round
Yeah,
one?
yeah,
your
it is.
screen is visible.
Yes.
we can see it, Mayur, clearly,
Okay.
and I really like the graphic.
Yeah, a lot of AI in it, right? So this is
Yes.
the website name round1.ai, and literally what it means is that it's going to conduct the first round of interview using AI.
Mhm.
If it helps, just recall the name, right?
Ankur, could you mute yourself, please?
We should be able to do it from here if he's not. Okay. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll try and post a job and see
Uh-huh.
how that experience work. Again, we have used AI in many different stages. So this is the first stage where you have to define the requirements. Right,
Yeah.
so I'm going to type in, let's say, senior Azure data engineer, a
Mm-hmm.
very common job profile these days, right? Let me click on surprise me because the AI is going to surprise us. So what just happened between clicking that button and the screen is that AI has looked into the job role and then suggested top 5 skills that anyone would require for this role, along with the efficiency level, right? Because you don't want everyone expert into every skill. So here are the top 5 skills you require for a senior Azure data engineer role. And these are all the efficiency levels for the skills. And
Uh-huh.
feel free to choose or change them. This is all recommended by the AI, right? What we've noticed is that in 90% cases, you don't need to make any changes. They're pretty much to the dot. But if you want, you can always change. For example, for this role, if the big data is not that critical, I can change that to beginner level. And if
Mm-hmm.
data warehousing is important, I can probably switch to specialist, right? If it was a junior role, then it would suggest some of the lower ranks. And if you feel like, okay, this is not required, you can delete the skill. Or if you want to add new skill, you can add a new skill of your choice. But this is the skills that's required for this role suggested by the AI.
Uh-huh.
Now, if we go to the next step, the AI is also going to generate a very basic but to the point, very attractive job description for this role, considering
Wow.
the skills that it suggested and you agreed as a hiring manager.
Uh-huh.
These are the roles and responsibilities and required skills related to that job. Again, if you want, you can click on this edit button and edit the entire job description, but AI has done the basic work for you, saving you at least few minutes of your time.
Mm.
And this is pretty relevant to the role because we've trained the models, extensively on so many different roles.
Yes.
So it's usually it's pretty to the target. You can add your company information, salary information, all of those details. You can make changes as per your requirement. Once you agree and post a job, and this is where we'll ask you to create your account and post the job. As soon
Okay.
as you post a job, it will basically give you a URL of the job posting.
Uh-huh.
Um, let me, as a matter of fact, let me just create an account and post this job anywhere. And you cannot use your personal email to post a job because it has to be posted by company email.
Mm-hmm. That's good validation, I would say.
Yeah, if you didn't have the company, you wouldn't want to post it. So what I'll do is rather than posting a fresh job, I'll switch to the dashboard where we
Yes.
already posted some jobs so we can see it with some data, right?
Yeah, sure.
So I've already logged in with my account. So when you log in as a hiring manager, this is
Yes.
the dashboard that you would see.
Mm-hmm.
These are the job posting credits that you have to buy. Basically, when you join, you get 2 free credits as a launch offer, but then you will have to buy more if you want to post more jobs. So it's pay as you go. If you don't use it, you don't have to pay for it. But here you can see how many active jobs you have, how many applications you've received, how many interviews completed, and all the nice analytics details that you're seeing on your dashboard. Here are the top candidates for all the jobs that you posted. So you can go
Yep.
to a candidate that you're hiring for right now. You can see the top candidates right on the dashboard. let me go to the jobs and then I'll pick one job, for
Hi,
example.
Mayur. I have a question. Is that a good time to talk?
Um, if can I complete this dem this
Sure.
walkthrough?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And what's your name? Sorry, I don't see your name. If you can, so that I can
This
come
is
back.
Akash.
Akash.
Akash, okay, all right. I'll come back to you, Akash. Sure. So I'll pick this Azure data scientist role, and let's see the how the job post looks like. So at this point of time, I'll also start my candidate journey. As a candidate, will try and apply to this job.
Okay.
So this is how it looks like when you post a job. This is your job posting, right? This
Right.
is what you share on your social media or on your job portals. Basically, if you post a job on LinkedIn, you will take this URL and you will post it on LinkedIn as a job, so that when people apply to it, they will apply via this portal and they would be taken to the initial screening round right after this, right? So let's apply this as a candidate. And I'll use some, again, some of the dummy details right now.
I must say the UI looks very sleek, and so far it's been very smooth. So let's keep going.
Try to remove all the unnecessary elements in job application.
Yes.
It's quite tedious.
Yeah.
Again, as you can see, the resume is not a compulsory field because we don't need it right now. So let's submit as an applicant. I've just applied to this job, and what's happened is it's asking me to start the initial evaluation right now, or
Yeah.
it has already sent me an email, so I can do this later as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's going to take 30 odd minutes to do the initial screening with the AI, right? So what just happened is that I posted a job. Now, one candidate applied, but consider it that 100 candidates have started applying to this job. The very first step, as soon as they apply, is that we ask them to go through an initial evaluation with the round one AI bot.
Yes.
So you don't have to look into those 100 applications unless they evaluate themselves,
Yeah.
right? And once they've evaluated, you see a nice AI rated candidates. So let's do the interview, just a couple of steps, and
Yes.
then I'll switch back to the other dashboard.
Let's do that.
Okay, here again it shows me the job description, and I can start my evaluation. So let's start. Um, it just gives a quick warning that why this tool is being used, because a lot of candidates are not yet used to with the AI interviewing them or AI doing the assessment, right? So we're just telling them it allows a fair assessment for everyone. You have to choose an option. Right now, there's just one option, which is you answer with the text, but
Okay.
soon you will have a video option as well. So you can
Okay.
record yourself and answer all the questions. So let's start with the text-based answers. And this is the interviewing stage where we are conducting the first round of interview. This is the round one bot. It has now asked questions. These are all the 5 skills that we agreed upon when we posted
Yes.
it, right? So for all the skills, the bot will ask 3 to 5 questions, very direct.
Uh-huh.
We have not fed any questions, right? But the AI is trained to come up with the questions in real time, depending on the skills that you need to hire for.
Yeah.
And here it's asking the question, and the candidate would answer using this chat interface. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about Python, so I'll probably just say I don't know. It's not a good answer, but let me just say I don't know. So it would basically ask me the next question, but not just any question. It will, evaluate my answer in real time and then ask me the next question.
Yeah,
right?
I think it's leading, right? It's like a more human interaction type of a conversation rather than just being
Just
very, yeah,
there are many products and many services available where you can feed in the questions, and
yeah,
async matter, candidates can answer those questions. But again, it's very limiting, right? If you have to define the questions, then what good it is for? I mean,
yeah,
the AI does end-to-end everything. It comes up with the questions, it evaluates the answer. In runtime, it asks the next question. If the candidate doesn't want to answer this question, they can skip it. And the next question, a fresh question will be asked, right? So in this interview stage, the candidate will go through 3 to 5 questions for all the
yes.
5 or 6 skills that you defined.
Mm-hmm.
And towards the end, it will complete the interview. I'm going to complete it right now, and then we'll move on to the hiring manager's dashboard.
Yes. I think most of our participants are probably interested in that.
Yes,
Did
yes.
you want to take the question from Akash or should we wait to the end of the
Yeah,
demo?
let's take the question before I move on to.
My question got answered in the next slide, actually, previous slide, so it's done.
I'm glad
Brilliant.
that happened.
Now,
Yes.
I wanted to ask Mayur who is applying and where they are applying. So I got to know that there
So
is a link provided and the candidate is anyhow going to upload the profile or information required. So anyhow, thank you so much for the slide.
sure, sure.
Thank you.
And as I showed in the presentation earlier, right, that we're not dealing with the the first stage or second stage. We're dealing with the third stage. So we are catering to the initial assessment. We're not doing sourcing for you.
Yeah,
You still have to do the sourcing, but we are doing some base groundwork for you so that you can do the sourcing easily, right?
yeah, makes sense.
Now, if I see this role, this is where we applied, right? So Azure, junior Azure data scientist role. I can see some statistics. For example, 11 people have applied.
Mm-hmm.
Review completion rate is about 36%. A lot of time, less than 30% people would actually bother to do this initial evaluation. And that is
Yeah,
because 70% people are not really genuinely interested. They've applied just because
correct.
it's easy to apply, or they don't really want to be interviewed with an AI. That's also another scenario.
Mm-hmm.
It will change eventually, but we have to take one step at a time.
Of course.
So if I click on this job, I can see the job description. I can edit the skills and all the things. But the nice things are on the right side. Here are all the list of candidates who have applied. And the rating that you see, this is the rating out of 5. So AI has given them the rating. This is again myself applying as a junior Mayur Mekwan. I like to do that. But all of the other candidates that you see, these are the real candidates.
Right.
Let's pick any one candidate. I'll go with this Mr. James Carr. So as soon as you click on their name, you can see the detailed profile. And this is their phone number, email address. These are all the skills and what is the rating out of 5 for each of the skills, right? What you see here, 3, is an aggregated rating for
Of
all.
course. Yeah.
Now you can see that now, in the Python is like 4 out of 5. 3 of the skills are 4 out of 5, which is very good. If they had attached their resume, you can see them, you can view that in this resume viewer screen. Now let me go to the interview transcript. This is where the magic happens. Now I can see exactly all the questions asked by the AI to this candidate,
Okay.
and how the candidate answered all those questions. So this is an entire transcript
Brilliant.
of the interview.
Yeah,
For this question, the candidate answered this, and I can see the rating is 4 out of 5.
of course. Okay.
This is a very good answer.
Uh-huh.
And it took about 12 seconds to answer this. Uh, Similarly, you can see all of the questions for this one skill.
Yeah.
Now I can see all the different skills. For example, if I'm more interested into machine learning, let me click on this one. So I can see all the questions
Yeah.
that were asked to this
Ye-
candidate.
Yeah, you know what's interesting while you're showing this, I'm also thinking that because the AI is doing the screening process based on the skill assessment, you can then float this out to your technical leaders, and
Yeah.
then
It will
they can
be
have exact review of what the candidate has replied. So this is a really good basically audit
This is a
piece.
very good point. We'll have a very good feature here on the top somewhere where you can export this script in a PDF, a secret, sorry,
Uh-huh.
not secret, but a secure PDF, or you can send a link to your actual interviewer, the
Yeah,
panel who is going to conduct the interview, right?
yeah,
Second round of interview, because this is just the first round. So
yes,
whoever would conduct the second round of interview, they would already see what questions were asked, how they responded, what was their rating,
yeah,
all the nice details. So like
yeah,
half the job is already done here.
exactly, yeah.
Now, more and more people will apply to this job, but just out of these 12 candidates, I can see that these top 3 candidates are here. So now,
Right.
if I find this one good, I can click on shortlist. You can then
Yeah.
schedule some automations, which is a very coming up, a feature that's coming soon.
Uh-huh.
And as you click on shortlist, it will send an automated email to schedule the next round of interview. Or you can do that manually. You can reach out to the candidate. You can schedule the next round of interview with your panel with all of these nice details already captured for them. So doesn't matter if 100 people apply or 500 people apply.
Yeah.
Only the top candidates would then go to the second round of interview.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, we've not even looked into the CV yet.
Of course. Yeah. So basically it's removing that bias, that screening of resume and all sorts of things, and you're looking at the candidate purely from a skill
Purely on the
perspective,
skills. Yeah.
which means that a junior programmer who's really good at what they do
Yeah.
can actually apply for whatever because it's skill based, right?
Absolutely.
So there is a lot more competition that you're creating, which is purely skill based, which is sounds really great.
And
Thank you.
what it does for the candidates is that it gives everyone the fair chance. See, I mean, let's agree to this that if you receive 100 applications, at
Yeah.
most you're going to review 20 of them.
Yeah.
That means you're leaving 80 on the table.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
might be a very good candidate in those 80,
Yeah.
but just
I,
because you cannot review all of them, you're leaving a
yeah.
lot of good candidates out there, right?
Yeah. I think today what we have done through this demo, Mayur, is talk through the recruiter's journey, what they would see, and also the interviewer's journey as well. And it sort of shows that you are doing this purely on skill base. So there's a lot of potential here to add other features, which would be at the back of what the recruitment team feels, right? I was thinking, I think this has been really amazing. Thank you very much. I was wondering if we should move on to the Q&A session
Sure,
to
let's do that.
see
Let's do
if
that. Just to
anybody has any questions.
Sure. So just before I move on to that, just to give some more details on the coming features is that uh, for enterprise clients, this would integrate straight into their HRMS systems, so they won't have to deal with one additional system. All of the
Yeah.
data would come back and forth to your HRMS systems.
Okay.
If the candidates are not selected, for example, there would be a time deadline, and then it would send automated emails to candidates that, sorry, we're not considering you right now.
Yeah.
Or you could, you can very well change that template and all. But this is how round one is trying to tackle the problem of influx of candidates. We've seen hundreds of people applying to the jobs that we have posted ourselves
Yeah.
for round one AI, right? We've done all the hiring by round one, obviously, makes sense. But yeah, so let's take any questions. If anyone has any questions, I'll stop sharing my screen. I'll come back to it if needed. But
Yeah.
if anyone has any questions, feel free to put them in a chat or just come off the mute and ask. Yes, Akash, yes.
I'm not sure is the right platform to ask this question, but Mayur, I was just looking into your website and found that under something related to commercial part,
Yeah.
where it is saying that 2 free posts, job posting, and then £500 per posting. Is that right? Or
That's
is there a mistake in the website?
no, that
We
is
have an interested candidate, Mayur. Let's get on with him.
sure. That's right. So Akash, let's consider some of the other costs involved if you're doing this manually, right? If you were just about to evaluate, let's say 25 candidates manually, just looking at their CVs or calling them up and asking them questions to determine out of 25, which five should be taken forward to the next round of interview. Right? If you're doing it yourself, it's going to cost you more. But if you were going to the third-party recruitment agency, for example, you are very well likely to pay much more than that £500. Well, this is for the UK market again. So when we do come to the India market, the product is available, but when we do launch the India specific product, it will have a different pricing. I don't know where you from, Akash, right now. Are
I'm
you
from India,
from?
and looks like most of the audience is from India itself. Most,
Well,
I'm
we're
not saying
all
everyone.
over. Yes.
So I would suggest that could be a point which you should evaluate while putting into the website, because if you are doing webinars on a regular basis, Mayur, people will go on the website and check it. And on the very first day, they will immediately move out because
Ask for the price.
65,000 per job,
Yeah.
not justifying, specifically looking into Indian market. You are right for European market and
Very,
other countries.
very true.
So probably
Yeah.
either you hide it
Oh,
right away.
thank you very much for that
That will
feedback.
be,
We'll
at
change
least by
that.
this, you will
We'll
get
add
another
some more
meeting,
instructions so
another
that
chance
it's
of
clear.
meeting with the clients. Otherwise,
Yes.
see, I was shocked by looking into it. If I would have seen the website, and I would have not gone ahead and talked to you.
No,
Just
I
a
think.
feedback.
Thank you, Akash. We'll definitely take that into consideration and we'll make it very clear. Thank you.
Uh, just to back that question, Akash, what happens? Is there many other tools coming up in this space where they're all asking for that their business model is per interview, basically.
Mhm.
Okay. So if you send 10 candidates to be interviewed, I would charge you £10 per candidate, for example, right? So that's going
Mhm.
to be £100, much more cost efficient, right? But it still leaves the hard work of out of 100 applications that you receive, how do you determine which 10 to be interviewed by the AI? You
Yeah,
know,
point is valid. I'm
so
sorry, I just immediately said, at the very start of the question, is it the right
yeah,
platform to
yeah.
ask?
So we are following this different business model where we don't want to limit the number of candidates you can interview with AI.
Yeah.
And then this is just launch offer when we offer more enterprise level products. There will be better plans that
Yeah.
a volume hiring company or agencies can use for a much
So
affordable.
that is where my question comes in, where, probably off the track, I would like to discuss that with you.
Sure.
And
I'll definitely follow up after the webinar with you, Akash. But
Yeah.
thank you very much. That's a really good question.
Yeah, I think, Mayur, it is worth still just sharing the offer and also just talking through. If you feel like it's not relevant, maybe we skip it. But I think it's worth floating. How do people contact us and
Sure.
what can they do to move forward?
Sure. Unless there are any more questions, are there any questions? Anybody has any questions? Please feel free to ask. Come off the camera, come off the mute, or just put it in the chat.
There are
I think we're
definitely
going
encouraging
just a little
comments.
over time, maybe 5 minutes over the time, but I appreciate everyone sticking around. That's really good. But if there are no questions, then I'll again let me share my screen, and I would really like people to reach out if they have any questions. As a launch offer, again, this may not be directly relevant to the Indian job market and will very soon launch the India specific products, right? Because
Yeah,
it does require some additional features or additional, basically, it's different. The market is different. It requires somewhat different treatment
of course. Yeah.
to its customers and products. But if you join now,
I
They'll
have
want
a
to offer.
question. This is Naina.
Hi, Nana. Yes.
Um, means the candidate should answer the questions while applying for XYZ job. But my question is, maybe they can use other the AI tools, let's say ChatGPT or something like that, to just check the answers and try to give the smart answers, right? So how we can track that by
I'm
using
really
this?
glad you asked that
Mhm.
question, Nana.
Yeah.
And I should have covered that earlier. And that's going to happen. That's very well, it's going to happen. See, as in when we find out that this is how candidates are playing bad actors, we'll introduce new measures to it. For example, you may not be able to copy paste. In the first
Right.
version right now, it's there, but very soon, probably tomorrow onwards, you won't be able to paste your answers, right? Now, you can have another laptop next to you, search the answer, and then type in here.
Okay.
The AI is going to be much more smarter over time. If you, done that Googling around and answered from another site, that plagiarism would be caught in the AI. Again, if you answer the question by looking at somewhere else, the time that you take to answer that question is also
Exactly.
much more shorter. So
Okay.
we have already put in so many measures to proctor. We don't want, so again, there's a fine balance between the user experience, right? Candidate experience here. If we just start the video interview right now, where as a candidate, you have to look into the camera and not a person and answer the questions, people don't feel comfortable with that right now. Right? You cannot cheat. If you have to answer over video, you cannot cheat. But we'll eventually have a very good user experience where you can answer with video, but the user experience would be much better. You won't feel awkward or uncomfortable answering with the video. So we'll use more mechanisms, not just one, but many mechanisms to stop bad actors from playing around. Yeah. But very good questions. I'm glad you asked that, Nana.
Yeah. Thank you, Mayur. Thanks for your answer.
So you can you can start posting jobs. You can do the 2 free job postings right now. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me. Here is my email address. You can follow me on LinkedIn, send me a message, send me an email anytime. I'm more than happy to talk to all the feedback. I'm very open
Yes.
to that.
Amazing.
So yeah, over to you, Mona. I hope
Yeah.
you've given some value, and we'll be sharing the blog link over the email,
Yes.
where you can see what are the different AI tools that you can use for different stages of the recruitment lifecycle.
Brilliant. Thank you, Mayur. I think I would like to thank again to all our participants, and I think we've got some really good questions. And I think we have the right people on the call, so that's brilliant. And I think we would take notes about the Indian market and act on it. But yes, I would like to encourage tech enthusiasts, AI enthusiasts, and recruiters to share this with your own network. Do give us feedback as well. And then hopefully we can add more features. We can explain how it works or any other questions that you have about it. I think this product is really it's going to solve a real world problem, and I think it can have a huge impact on the tech hiring and the recruitment process. So yeah, thank you very much for joining. We will send out an email with the blog and the video as well. So yeah, if you feel like it, do share with others and get them to talk to us. Thank you, Mayur. It was really good. Thank you. And your demo was really good. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone, and have a good day ahead or a good
Thanks, everyone. Take care. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Thank you, Mona. Thank you,
Bye.
Mayur.
Bye.
Thank you, Mayur. Thank you, Mona.